Vigilante 8 Arcade was released in November of 2008 and was developed by Isopod Labs, which was made up of Peter and Andrew from Luxoflux and a handful of grad students. Arcade was intended to be a remake of the first game for its 10th anniversary, taking elements from both games in the series and improving upon them. And today, I'm here to tell you that this game is fucking fantastic. Firstly, we have the roster of characters is much smaller this time around, with only 8 characters having questlines and 3 extras slotted in for the DLC. Isopod knew they needed to cut the fat with the characters and decided to remove Slick Clyde from the game entirely because he was clearly the worst character. I mean, hell, I'll take JT's Jefferson over his shitty Bronco any day of the week. Plus, the 3 DLC characters got changed up a bit with the exception of Sheila. Houston is now sporting her second offense look even though this is the first game, and Loki, who's now in an APC of all things, because who the fuck cares about canon? That shit is for babies. Then we have the questlines themselves. Clearly they knew that second offense with its 8 stages were too boring and too long for today's market, so they shortened it to just 3 stages each, which are designed to keep you on the edge of your seat for the gripping action in each of these tightly packed maps with enemy choices that made perfect sense. I mean, why wouldn't I be fighting 2 convoys teamed up with a Molo while I am also playing a convoy? It was pure genius. Then you had the stages themselves. There was just too much good shit from the first 2 games, so they simply crammed some of them together to make these massive stages that had all your favorite bits from each level so you could explore while you fought. Plus, these large stages added the runtime to each of the quest modes, which were super important due to there only being 3 stages per questline. Quality over quantity, guys. These stages were handcrafted perfection and have absolutely no bugs whatsoever because jank is bad and they released a perfectly polished product. Also, I should cover the voice acting quite quickly, which is fantastic, by the way. I always harp on about Sid's voice from the first game, and they've clearly done better work here.
Hey, let's raise some hell, mate!
Not to mention they make references that take place after the year the game is set in, which is 1975, because, like I said before, canon is for babies. Now we come to the gameplay, which is easily the least important aspect of the Vigilante 8 series, but I'm still obligated to mention it anyway. Thanks to the future of game development, cars handle beautifully, the double tapping gas is finely tuned, and the new combo system is vastly superior. 3-button combos are too hard and overrated, whereas this charge-up system that's totally original and wasn't stolen from Star Wars Destruction is amazing and makes car combat far more simpler and easier to understand. Plus, with this new system, they realized that some of the old combos might pose a problem, so they tweaked several of them, including the Crater Maker being nerfed to Firestarter, which was a good thing because Crater Makers are busted and were brainless to use. The Missile Swarm lost its tracking ability and became the Patriot, which was also a good sign so they could be spammed very easily and worked with most of the specials in the game allowing for free kills. And finally, Bastion rockets got changed into the Longhorn, which does massive damage at the right distance because that's clearly the best kind of weapon combo. Speaking of nerfs, most of these special weapons that were unfun to fight against in the original got nerfed here, including Molo, Boogie, and Chassis. Meanwhile, other characters get different specials altogether, which are easily superior, including Sid's new flamethrower and Convoy's best special weapon, the Rolling Thunder, which is such a powerful tool for destruction. I can't. Oh, fuck. I have never talked so much shit in my fucking lifetime, dude. Holy fuck. This game's bad. Oh, fuck. I'm surprised I managed to get through this fucking script without pissing myself laughing, but holy fuck. Oh, this game's bad. Just not getting around. I'm surprised on how much fucking shit I could talk about this game before I lost it. This game's, I know I said it already, but, the cars handle like shit. The double tap boost I mentioned earlier is, overkill as all hell. You just fucking fly away and there's no control to it whatsoever. The classic control scheme sucks ass. You actually are forced to use the new control scheme because you just fucking button mash the pad and things die. It's so fucking brainless. The levels are also way too fucking big. I know I contradicted myself earlier, saying, the tightly packed stages, and then I said all these massive stages. The stages are fucking huge, which is garbage. Big maps are bad. The best map in this entire series is oil fields. Like, no contest, because it's such a tightly packed map with a lot of good shit in it, a lot of destructibles, and it keeps the action going, which is the main fucking point of this video game. But clearly, Peter and Andrew didn't realize that fact, and they're just like, oh, fuck it, let's just get all the shit from the two games and chuck them into massive stages, yeah. Like, Ski Resort and Hoover Dam are the two big fucking offenders of this. They're just massive. Fucking the Ski Resort, well, I don't even know what the fuck it's called in this game, but yeah, the Ski Resort one, like, it's got the massive big jump from fucking Winter Games, but it's got, like, and it's got the carriage thingies and the big small carriage, and it's just it's this huge hotel lodge, which is also from Winter Games, I believe, and it's just massive for no fucking reason. And also the part where I was like, this news Jack is bad and agrees to perfectly polished fucking hell. Yeah, this game wasn't coded well, which is a big surprise because was it Andrew or Peter? No, it was Andrew. Andrew was the big coder guy. Like, he did all the programming in all the old games, you know, and those were fantastic. Yeah, they have a lot of jank, but they were PS1 games. You know, we were willing to forgive that. We love jank. I love jank. Jank's fun. But the jank in this game sucks. Because, like, nobody likes falling through the map. Just straight up. That's just shit in any game. And it never happened in the old games. Yeah, you got fucking thrown a ladder on. You might have gone out of the stage, but you never went under it specifically. Weapons are trash. Like, the buckshot combo is, like, ridiculously overpowered because you can just whammy every single projectile, which is not how buckshot's supposed to work, by the way. Missile Swarm is, like, probably one of the best combos in existence, and it just straight up got nerfed because fuck you and your fun. Crater Maker got removed because, I don't know, I guess they just didn't want to bother with the ground shit anymore and just put in the Firestarter instead. We're like, oh, we don't like people getting killed from across the map. It's like, the Crater Makers are slow as shit. Just move. It's not hard. What other bullshit did I come up with? Oh, yes, the voice acting. Man, I had some choice words for the voice acting when I first fucking heard it, let me tell you. Like, Boogie sounds like a fucking 50-year-old man that's trying to pretend he's 30. Sid's Australian accent is a fucking insult. I know I'm not one to talk because my Australian accent flops in and out, but his Australian accent's just garbage. I will much prefer the hee-haw fucking first game over anything else. Like, I know I shit on it a lot, but I still love fucking Sid Byrne. And then, oh geez, Molo sounds like he's 12.
School's out, and so are you.
Which is, I mean, it's like all the grad students just did all the voice acting with no fucking experience whatsoever. They're just like, say these lines and out you go. And the references are really fucking dumb. Fucking Staying Alive was 1977, but the game was supposed to take place in 1975. But Peter and Andrew don't give a shit about canon, you know, even though Peter's the one that fucking wrote it. But sure, who gives a shit about all that? No cutscenes as well, because that was all done out of house for the first two games, so clearly they were on a tight budget here, because they didn't even fucking bother. Loki being in an APC is fucking stupid. Houston, I do like her toe hook more, but she should have been in the Houston 3. Oh, fuck. Oh, yes, and the big one. This is the big one. The sound effects. Fucking hell, the sound effects are awful. Specifically, the one sound effect that pisses me off more than anything else is the dead corpse sound effect.
Got your knickers in a twist.
Because it's so fucking loud for no goddamn reason. It's just a whirr of loud fucking noise. It's like, please shut the fuck up. Thank you. And the glass breaking noise, that's way too loud as well. Like, the audio balance is just all over the fucking place. Like, goddamn. And also, the other thing I've just remembered, the fucking weapons look too similar. I can't tell the difference between rockets and fucking mines, and I can't tell the difference between... What was the other one? I think it was cannon and mortar? There was another one I couldn't tell the difference with. But yeah, like in the first two games, the weapons are easily recognizable by their shapes. The rocket was a fucking cylinder, for Christ's sake. It was a small cylinder, and then the mortars were big cylinder, and cannon's probably the most recognizable outline. You know, and mines had their own thing. They're not just some fucking cylinder. That's my big problem. And mines are so fucking... God, mines are awful, dude. I'm just reminding myself of that Sid Burn run. Mines are just fucking awful. There's no point to them. They're a defensive tool, basically. They're not an offensive tool, which is like, yeah, that's what the mines in the original game were for, fair enough, but you could at least just cactus patch those and they wouldn't be too bad. But, well, actually, the main reason why mines are such a pain in the ass is because of the weapon system. The weapon system fucking sucks, because you can't change your weapons. You have to you put them on each button with the normal loadout, because I know Classic has this thing, but Classic is bad because of the simplicity of the newer one. Also, with the Classic one, you can't change the buttons, and for those of you who aren't aware, I use a very custom setup for Vigilante 8, so muscle memory is dumb. That's why I'm constantly putting fucking the fire button and the machine gun mixed up, because in arcade, it's different to what I have up and set up in the first and second games. But, like, you can't choose which weapons to drop, which is why I'll sit there and fucking spam mortars, because I want to get rid of the mortars so I can pick up a third weapon. And I have to spam them to get rid of them, because otherwise I'm just going to be going around in circles picking up weapons, which is what happened in that fucking Sid Burn run. I went clearly around the mines. It still picked them up anyway. I should have just cactus patched and then gone back to it. But then, I don't know, brain dumb, whammy spammy, you know? This game just makes me mad. Oh, jeez, I have gone way off script. I've just been sitting here ranting for fucking 10 minutes. It's a good, well, I wouldn't even say it's an okay game. It's a good game, but it's not a good Vigilante 8 game, if that makes any sense. On its own, if it had nothing to compare to, if I didn't have the original series to compare to, I'd say this game is fine. It's okay. It has its problems, but whatever. But because I specifically have its prequels to compare to, it's this is the standard that you have to meet with this game, and you clearly haven't met it. And the main problem is just the lack of the team. You know, Peter and Andrew, they do make up a large chunk of Luxoflux, sure, but, the other guys of, fucking David and the two others I've forgotten about. I apologize. The names have slipped me at the moment. They're in the 40 Facts video, but my memory is that of an old man. But, they didn't have the OG team together, the whole gang. Dave, as he was telling me, he was too busy with Ratchet and Clank, and he wasn't able to put his input in. And let's not forget, Dave was the guy that came up with both combat systems. By the way, I should mention the fact that I made the joke about the Star Wars Destruction. Yeah, you want to guess who came up with the charge-up system? Yeah, that was fucking Dave. He was come up with a new combo system that doesn't use inputs. So he came up with a charging system, and then they just fucking use that for arcade, because they clearly can't think of ideas on their own. It's so bad. I think it was Peter specifically said he had troubles with the combo system, which is why he didn't like it. So it's probably why the charge-up system is in place to begin with.
Combine both of them, because Peter never liked the combo system because he never could do it. So...
Yeah, fair enough. Credit where it's due, they did leave the original combos in, fair enough, but they still fucked with some of the combos anyway, so it's a mess. What's the point of Firestarter, dude? It's such a shit combo. I mean, I use it a lot, but that's only to get the fucking ammo count down, but it's just so bad. Not having a variable ammo count combo is also really annoying, because you have to specifically have 4 to use the Firestarter, and if you don't, you're just forced to fucking spam it normally, and it's fucking gay. I mean, yeah, they've got 12 now to make up for that, sure, but it's still stupid. I think that's just about everything I wanted to rant about. So what? Controls are bad, voice acting's bad, specials are bad, weapons are bad, stages are bad. I think that's everything. This game. I mean, I'm still going to play it because, I still have to speedrun everybody. I'm more so doing it out of an obligation rather than actual fun. I've been milking this fucking series for over 3 years now. I want to make sure I hit every nook and cranny to make up with my weekly fucking schedule. And it's difficult. Some weeks I'm really fucking gonna grasp at straws. I had to take a couple of breaks, and it's a mess. Speaking of a mess, I need to stop this fucking script. I've just been sitting here rambling about stuff. Fucking post-editing me is going to hate me because he's going to have to go like, how the fuck am I going to come up with 11 minutes of script, 11 minutes of video? I'll figure something out, I'm sure. Fuck me. Well, I managed to keep the April Fool's joke going for I don't know how long, but I think I've ranted for longer than the actual fucking video. So I'm just gonna stop, and we're gonna go back to our usual schedule next week of... Well, actually, next week is some more Wild Wild Racing stuff. I do want to go back into that a little bit. But yeah, more speedrun stuff, basically. I'll stick to what I know best, apparently, which is going for the best times. I'll see you fuckers in a week.